Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at gcnlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Watch the greenbacks tumble.
Everyone all set, cocked, locked. Here we go. Your dial set correctly to USAPrepares.com. We're delighted you're here, and we're broadcasting 2 hours from high atop the Missouri Ozark Mountains. If you'd like to call us, we'll pay for the call. 866-582-9933. 866-582-9933. Aaron's engineering the broadcast in Minnesota. Captain John Regan's with us. Welcome, Captain John Regan.
Good morning, Vincent.
Good morning, John. Hey, John, I had a lot of fun over the weekend. I went to the Preppers and Patriots Expo in Mountain Home, Arkansas. I got a chance to see some of our faculty. Judy Dollarhite was there, John Dollarhite, Mike Knox, Sam Bushman, Kurt Crosby, Scott Peterson, John Moore. And, you know, out of the corner of my eye when I walked in, it was kind of a dark area. A seminar was going on in the main room there. And I walked in. Out of the corner of my eye, I wasn't 100% sure, but I thought I saw Mike Parsons. And for those of you who remember, Mike Parsons was arrested and put in prison for defending himself, actually, for telling the sheriff to stop executing his dog. He didn't really defend himself. He just told the sheriff's deputy to stop shooting his dog. And they wanted Mike Parsons in prison the worst way. So they put him in prison for 15 months. And I thought I saw him out of the corner of my eye, and I waved to him, and he was behind the camera. He was asked to video a session, so he was doing that, and I didn't go over to him because I thought, I'd interrupt him, but I kind of really thought it was him. And as soon as I saw him in the clear after that, we had a chance to talk, and we had dinner together. It was really nice. It was great to see Mike. It really was. So he's home. He's free to travel, but they want his presence back in prison. So when he's ready, we'll have a chance to talk about that on the air. And I'd like to mention that if the state of Tennessee gives Mike Parsons a hard time, we're going to report it. We're going to report who they are, what they're doing, why they're doing it, where they're doing it, when they're doing it. And we'll give everyone responsible for giving Mike Parsons a hard time, we'll give them full credit right here on the air and on the internet. Pictures, everything. Prison's torture. Mental and physical torture. Why are we discussing this? Because we're next. We might be the next target. Let me tell you another story. Oh, Tim Starks. Had dinner with Tim Starks, and there was a whole bunch of us that got together for dinner. All the USA Prepares instructors and some others. We got together, and Tim Starks and Beverly Starks were there. So we had a bunch of USA Prepares faculty there. And so Tim was telling me a story. He said that he was traveling from Illinois to Missouri, and he was pulling a trailer with his truck when it was dark with some jet skis on it. And he was pulling his jet skis on his trailer. And oncoming was a vehicle with bright lights on. So he flashed his lights to signal, hey, you've got your bright lights on. And seemed to have no response. So he did it again. And the oncoming car still had its bright lights on. So he did it again, Flick the lights. Who doesn't do that? I do it all the time. As a matter of fact, I do it to warn people that there are police ahead. You know, if they're approaching police where the police are hiding, you know, I don't want them to hit the cops, you know, by accident, not seeing them, because these cops hide with their lights off and their radar guns on. You can't see their radar guns, so you might hit the cops. So I warn everybody, flashing my lights. Well, you know, if you see something, say something. So if I see a cop on the side of the road sniping, I'll say something to everybody I can possibly say it to by flashing my lights. Anyway, so the third time, Tim flashes his lights, you know, flicks his lights, blinks them, high beams to say, hey, got your bright lights on. You're blinding me. And bright lights are still on. And then just as this vehicle approaches Tim Stark's truck and trailer, the driver puts his lights down to, you know, driving lights. Then he passes Tim. Tim sees it's the Highway Patrol, the Missouri State Highway Patrol. So a Highway Patrol guy was the guy who was blinding Tim with his high beams on. Highway Patrol turns around, pulls Tim over. License and registration, you know, all that good stuff. So the Missouri Highway Patrol says to Tim, now I'm paraphrasing, you steal those jet skis? Tim's like, come on. Really? So the Highway Patrol guy says he wants to see the title for the jet skis. So Tim says, I'm going to record this. Cop pulls out his gun, puts it in Tim's face and says, you record it and I'll shoot you. Tim says, are you serious? You going to shoot me? And the cop says, you turn on that recording, I'm going to shoot you. Ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about the blue plague, that's just one more example of the blue plague. Now, how do we know about the blue plague? Because it affects USA Preparers, our instructors, and you. We know about these incidents because it happens to our faculty and our students. So there is a faculty member who had a gun pulled on him, sitting in his car, because he was going to record the incident because he thought it was over the top, outrageous, and unnecessary. And so Tim wanted to know who the cop was. So he called the state police, and they won't tell him. And the reason? Well, you know, for the safety of the highway patrolman. Really? For the safety of the highway patrolman who pulled a gun on someone traveling down the highway because he wanted to record the interaction, the abuse by the blue plague? True story. True story. And then Mike Parsons, boy, he could tell you a lot of stories about prison. It's just the beginning. And you know, I'm starting to hear fewer and fewer people say, oh, no. The cops, 95% of them are good. Fewer and fewer people are saying that now. And in Baltimore, the police, when they approach someone, there's a new trend. The police are now surrounded by we the people when they have an interaction with somebody. We the people are now surrounding them to make sure that the cops are doing their job and not violating the Constitution, not violating civil rights. I love it. I love it. And that's what we need to do. Now, we need to go to court, too. We need to go sit in court and make sure our constitutional rights are not being violated. And we said for years that there'll become a time when people will look at the blue coats the same way our forefathers looked at the red coats. It's happening right now. Police are being killed and disemboweled in this country. These are tactics of war. Why is this happening? Because the police are using war tactics on we the people. It appears to me that we the people have embraced guerrilla tactics. We're not advocating it. We just said it would happen. And it's happening. John Regan?
And unfortunately, part of the plan is to take over the local police and replace them with federal government loyalists.
Right. John, I talked to a few people over the last couple of weeks here in the Ozarks. Farmers. They've seen the Predator. They've seen the drones. I'm not talking about hobby drones. I'm talking about the drones. They've seen them over our farms. John, this is totally unacceptable. What would the Predator be doing flying over the Finelli farm? So, when Vincent Finelli got rid of his cell phone, that was a good move. You know, class, I went all the way to Arkansas. All the way to Arkansas. And back. And you know what? I did not need to have a cell phone. Can you imagine that? No need for a cell phone. But I have to tell you that everywhere I go, people I meet, they have their cell phones in their pockets, in their hands, or on a flat surface near them. Interesting thing, John. During my seminar, I was talking about how to start your own business and take the same tax deductions that the rich take. What I was telling people is they could start a hobby and they could buy their preparedness items and have those items be a tax deduction, like a water filtration system or seeds or gardening tools, or if they want to buy a fishing rod, and how to create a website or a blog and have those be deductions. The guy came in late and I said, "Are you recording this?" He said, "Yeah." And I said, "No, you're not. You're not going to record this because if you are, I'm going to stop saying the things I'm saying." And one of the guys next to him said, "Hey, if he records it, I'll take care of him." We'll be right back. By now, you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration system and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
Hi, John Hubner from Midas Resources. Are you tired of watching your hard-earned assets dwindle away? As government spending is out of hand and the Federal Reserve is creating in excess of $20 billion a week, are you tired of stockbrokers gambling away your hard-earned money? Is this market a setup for a crash greater than 1987? Too many of today's John Hubner, and that was me in 2007. And we all know what happened when the subprime credit bubble burst. By March 2009, the dollar lost 50% of its value. The entire U.S. banking system was on the verge of collapsing. Like all financial problems of the past, is history about to repeat itself? Call me, John Hubner, at 1-800-686-2237, extension 129, before it's too late to protect yourself. Will the oncoming catastrophe take all private IRAs, 401ks with it? There is a way to protect your hard-earned assets. Call me, John Hubner, at 1-800-686-2237, extension 129. I'm
Vincent Finelli of USAPrepares.com. As most of you know, I broadcast weekday mornings on GCN from 9 to 11. And I'm also a full-time farmer. Add to that mix the weekly meetups and the Get Prepared Expo, and this combination makes for a demanding schedule. On the farm, we raise grass-fed Black Angus cattle and provide them with the best variety of summer and fall grasses available. Our cattle are exposed to the extremes of weather, the toxins in the air, and the electromagnetic radiation that's all around us. So even the best grasses and food that we provide are not enough. Our cattle require minerals and supplements for strong health and resistance to disease. And so do we. For these reasons, my mother, our children, Mrs. Finelli, and I all take longevity beyond Tangy Tangerine, De-Stress, Glucogel, and EFA Plus. USAPreparesTeam.com. And thank you for being in class today.
We live in a complicated society. Stressful issues are always popping up. Have you ever been treated unfairly by someone? Have you ever been overcharged for a repair? Have you ever signed a contract or a document worried about identity theft? How many times have you been in those unique situations where you just wanted to call an attorney to find out if you're right or wrong, or what your legal rights are? But every time you think about calling an attorney, what do you think about first? That's right. Who do you call, and how much will it cost? Our friends at Legal Shield have found a solution. With a nationwide network of 6,900 attorneys who average 19 years of experience, Legal Shield's law firms take over 40,000 calls per week helping their members. For less than $20 per month, you can have access to Legal Shield on everything from the trivial to the traumatic. Let Legal Shield stand up for your rights at lsprotection.com. That's lsprotection.com. Or call 855-340-SAVE, 855-340-7283.
Results will vary from case to case.
We meet up tonight, and we're going to be talking about cordage, making rope and wicks from plants and paper. Yep, that's David Moore tonight, and he's going to be talking about how to make rope, the old-fashioned way. And we may need to do that. He's also going to be talking about a do-it-yourself indoor lighting system for growing indoor plants. That's David Moore tonight at the meetup. And Michael Bowman is going to be talking about making wine and beer. Tonight, 4:45 to 8, Jimmy's Egg, Battlefield Road, Springfield, Missouri. All free. If you'd like to join us for dinner, you certainly may. So we're going to make wine, beer, learn how to do that. And we're going to learn how to make rope and wicks with David Moore. So Michael Bowman, David Moore, and of course I'll be giving you my take on the news. It's all free. USA Prepares Meetup at Jimmy's Egg. Information's on the website, usaprepares.com, usaprepares.com. John Regan?
Well, we have some unfinished business from Thursday. We talked about how men don't know how to be men nowadays. So the very first link I have up for the resources for today, it's called Man Up. It links to the Art of Manliness website, which if you just want to go there directly, it's artofmanliness.com. And it has a number of good articles on how to be a man. Things dress and grooming, health and sports, manly skills, money and career, relationships and family. It even shows you how to shave the old-fashioned way if you want to really man up.
John, when I was of dating age, and I would pick up the young lady in my truck, I had kind of a binary cut. What I would do is I would open the door for her on the passenger side, and she would get in. If she did not lean over and unlock my door, and these were the days of manual locks, right? This was before push-button unlocking and locking of your car doors. Okay, so you had these little knobs you'd pull up or a lever you'd flip. If after I opened the door for her this is date number 1, okay, or first time she would get in the car, and both doors would be locked. I had a 2-door car or a 2-door truck at the time. And I'm talking about when I was a teenager. If she leaned over and unlocked my door, then she was a candidate for date number 2. If she didn't, she was not a candidate for date number 2. Binary cut right there. And so it's kind of an odd rule, but for me, it indicated whether she was polite, whether she was proactive, whether she was thinking ahead of and being kind. Now, if she wasn't, why would I want to spend any more time with her? What do you think?
Works for me.
But now I'm wondering if it works at all. I mean, do you think, young ladies, if you didn't have a door lock on your car, do you think, if you had one where we had to unlock it manually, do you think that they would pay attention and say, you know what, it's the kind, nice, right thing, polite thing to do?
I guess nowadays it'd be, does she stop texting long enough to talk to you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. I saw plenty of cell phones at the Preparedness Expo, plenty of cell phones. And I guess I was probably the only person that didn't have one. But I'll tell you one thing, it does cause a slight inconvenience. I had to ask a whole bunch of people what time it was because I didn't have a watch either. So now I guess I'm going to go back to my wind-up watch. At the farm here, after the broadcast, I don't have to worry about what time it is. But before the broadcast, I do. And if I'm not going any place where I'm speaking on a schedule, I don't need to have a watch. But when I am, I do. So I'm going to go back to the wind-up watch because I don't want to have the electromagnetic radiation of a small computer attached to my wrist. What do you think about that? We'll be right back. John Regan, thefinancialstateoftheunion.com. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
For over 5 years, you've been hearing about the Berkey guy, so you may know a few things about him. For example, you are well aware of the superior quality and effectiveness of Berkey water filters and accessories. But did you know the Berkeys have had independent lab tests done to prove just how effective they are? It's true, and he can email you the test results. Just visit goberkey.com. You may also know that the Berkey guy has helped tens of thousands of people get better prepared. Now here's something you may not know. GoBerkey.com has amazing specials and deals all the time on a wide variety of survival and preparedness products, most ready to ship same day. Visit the Berkey Guy at GoBerkey.com and be sure to click the red Products on Sale Now button. You can always call toll-free 877-886-3653. Again, that's 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com, home of the Berkey Guy.
It's very easy to be a criminal. All you need to burglarize a home is one simple household tool, a pair of scissors. If your home security system can be compromised by a criminal using scissors, then you're making it easy for them. Almost every home security system, even those sold by big-name companies, has a weakness: the phone line. You shell out $1,500, get locked into a long-term contract, and think you're safe. But a burglar can destroy your alarm in seconds with one snip. And when a burglar cuts your phone line, you're defenseless. Simply Safe Home Security is the smarter choice. Built by Harvard engineers, Simply Safe uses a wireless connection to call the cops. Scissors can't cut it. And that means your home stays safe. 24/7 professional monitoring is under $15 a month with no contract. Simply Safe Home Security keeps you safer than the other guys for half the cost. Protect your home with the alarm you can trust. Simply Safe. Go to simplysafedefense.com now for an exclusive 10% offer. That's simplysafedefense.com.
Yuvia needed financing to grow her restaurant business, but her banks simply didn't understand.
I was frustrated.
Yuvia found On Deck Business Loans.
On Deck did it for me. I called on Saturday, and I had $50,000 in my account on Monday morning.
How about the terms?
Incredibly easy. It doesn't mess with your cash flow.
On Deck changed everything.
This company, On Deck, is going to be there for me.
Was it a good move?
I'm looking to increase sales probably 30%.
Been in business for at least a year with $100,000 plus in revenue? On Deck can get you $5,000 to $250,000 in as little as one business day, and they're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau.
On Deck has opened up so many doors for me now. Truly, the sky is the limit. I'm excited.
Apply now at onDeckLending.com or call 800-326-5430. 800-326-5430. 800-326-5430.
Loan subject to lender approval.
Are you suffering from EP? The symptoms include fraudulent charges to your credit card. Your subway card says it's empty, but you bought it yesterday. Someone's been in your hotel room, but the desk clerk says they only show you entering the room. These are signs of EP. Electronic pickpocketing. Payment cards, transit cards, even hotel room keys use a radio chip, so you can just wave your card at the register, the turnstile, or your hotel room door. But what's convenient for you is also convenient for thieves, waving scanners to electronically pickpocket you without even touching you. The good news is there's a cure. ID Stronghold has created leather wallets and clutches that have built-in EP protection. Layers of shielding material cleverly concealed in a beautiful leather wallet that stops the symptoms of EP. Go to idstronghold.com now and get the cure. idstronghold.com. Warning, ID Stronghold wallets could lead to feelings of safety and security, comfort in crowds, and euphoria. If you experience these emotions, immediately inform your friends and family about idstronghold.com so they can feel better too.
Captain John Regan's with us. TheFinancialStateOfTheUnion.com. And if you want to follow along in class with us today, you can click on the news tab, TheFinancialStateOfTheUnion.com. Click on the news tab, and you can follow along with us. John Regan?
I've been doing this thing called A Tale of Two Droughts, and we're continuing on with that today. The first couple of links there, California and Texas, are just the drought condition maps, and those have not changed since Thursday, so I'm not going to go over those. I just put them there so you've got easy access. We are officially the wettest May on record for Dallas. We are also the third wettest month ever. And there's a little bit we have to talk about on that. First, I just want to talk about lake levels real quick. There are 2 lakes in North Texas that are showing below normal. They had been roughly half a foot below. They're now over a foot below. And the reason is they're letting water out of there. All the other lakes are above normal, and they're trying to figure out how to get water out of these lakes, especially since there's still a lot of problems downstream from here. And one of them that they have problems with is Lake Texoma. It's now more than 28 feet above normal. And when it was 24, 25 feet above normal, there was a report where the water was going over the spillway. And that was the 4th time that has happened since 1944. That's how wet things are. The first link after Texas, the wettest May, talks about how the state as a whole has over 7.5 inches of rain. The previous record was 6 2/3 inches in June of 2004. And it's serious all over. below that is where the records are. The wettest month recorded for Dallas-Fort Worth was in April of 1922. We had 17.64 inches. We ended up with 16.96, which just missed what April of 1942 had at 16.97. And if you scroll down at the bottom of that page, it shows where they record the information. And you'll see a big number 4. That's where the DFW airport is, which is where the official records are at since 1974. If you see the numbers 1 and 2, which is where the rainfall records were kept from 1898 to 1953, I want you to keep in mind that we had a storm come through Wednesday night, and that area where you see the 1 and 2 got a couple of inches. If that had been, the 15 to 20 miles away where the airport is, we would have gone over the May record on Wednesday night, and we would now also be the wettest month ever. It was that close where the rain was falling. So whether you consider it the third wettest or, it doesn't matter. It's one of the wettest ever. And that's having an effect. Texas farmers, a number of them are facing total losses for the year. And this article also says that Texas has received 35 trillion gallons of water. And as we said, that's 7.5 inches. This article says cover the entire state. And if you haven't traveled Texas from east to west and north to south, you might not understand just how big it is. From where I lived in Beaumont to get to El Paso was over 800 miles. So covering the entire state in nearly 8 inches of water, that is a lot of water. And that's kind of on the order of what California needs. And the bad news out of there, which is the last link, there is no snowpack left. 0 inches available. So this summer, things are going to get much worse because that's where they depend on their summer waters, the snowpack that falls during winter. Vincent?
John, on Friday, I went to western Missouri to pick up a lathe right after, I left around 5 o'clock. What I did was I had my all-wheel drive 15-year-old Mercedes that I bought used for a few $1,000s. And it's great because it's all-wheel drive and it's got good ground clearance. It's awesome. I took that to meet with my son, and he happened to be about 20 miles closer to where the lathe was. And he had the 4-wheel drive, 3/4 ton turbo diesel Dodge pickup truck. So this thing stands pretty high in the air. It's not jacked up. It's stock, but it's really tall. And the lathe is really heavy. It's 5 feet long. A very long bed on this lathe. And it was an antique lathe made probably in the 1920s, 1930s. And it was all cast iron. So we're going to pick this thing up. And so I left my car in about 20 miles away in the parking lot, and he and I hopped in the truck, and we're driving toward Joplin, Missouri. And the weather was great. All of a sudden, the sky got very, very dark. Dark clouds ahead of us. I mean, black clouds. Very, very dark. And he got a tornado warning on his phone. And as we continued west, we saw, those cheese graters that I talked about, the ones those aircraft cables that divide the eastbound and westbound lanes of the interstates. And there it was, what I had talked about previously on this broadcast. We were in a line of cars and trucks on the interstate, no way to get off. The exits are few and far between, and you can't get into the median to pull off to safety because they have these cheese graters that prevent you from doing U-turns. Well, the rains came very, very quickly, and it was blinding rain. Visibility was about 20 feet. The cars and trucks ahead of us, put their four-way flashers on. Some continued because they were afraid they'd get rear-ended by these tractor trailers that are driving recklessly. These independent truckers who really push the limits. And they were coming behind us, and we were forced to continue straight ahead. Some cars pulled off into the shoulder, which was really, really dangerous because you couldn't see them until you were on top of them. So there we were, like cattle, unable to get out of harm's way, unable to take the exits. There's drop-offs. It's very, very difficult, and it was engineered so that you're going to only go one way. You're not going to turn around, and if you stop, you're putting yourself at risk. And if you continue, you're putting yourself at risk. And so imagine seeing a tornado right in front of you, okay? We didn't see one, but imagine this. Imagine seeing that tornado that wiped out Joplin right in front of us. The weather turned on a moment's notice, not being able to cross the grassy median of, let's say 200 feet. We couldn't, with four-wheel drive pickup, we couldn't cross the median to get out of harm's way. We had to go into it. Why? Because we get run over by the guys behind us. That's what your government has done. These cheese graters need to be removed. And the people who approved them need to be fired. Every one of them. From the highest levels of the Department of Transportation in your state, if you have them, they all need to be fired. That's my opinion. Because they wasted money, hard to earn money, that we, the wage earners, the taxpayers, are providing to the states and to the federal government for their exclusive waste. It's unacceptable. So that's one piece of it. The next piece of it, John, is I was in the fields last night with Mrs. Finelli and our son, and we moved cows from one field to another. In order to do this, we had to move them across the road, our gravel or dirt road that we live on. And the ground is so wet, it's rained so much that we can't cut the hay. In some places, when the fields have slopes in them, there was 2 inches of water running downhill. 2 inches of water running downhill to the lowest part of the field. I don't know when we're going to be able to cut our grass for hay. I don't know. Because it's going to take, at a minimum, if the sun were allowed to shine as it used to back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, some of the 90s, if the geoengineering would stop and they'd let the sun shine, the fields could dry out in about 4 days. If it didn't rain again, well, I don't see any period in the next week where we're going to have sun to dry out the fields so we can then spend the next 3 days cutting, raking, and baling the hay. So what does that mean, John? That means to me that farmers are not going to have hay for the winter. What does that mean? Well, that means that they're going to sell their cows, and there'll be a fire sale of prices. Cattle prices will go down. And then they're going to skyrocket way, way higher than they are now. 18 months later, when the farmers try to rebuild their herds. That's what I see happening. I don't see any other way, unless the weather lets the farmers cut the hay. I only know one farmer, John, who has cut his hay. Just one. And what happened was he said he was going to get ahead of this. He was going to cut the hay, rake the hay, bale the hay, and he did. But he baled it wet because he was forced to, because the rains were coming. The hay got moldy within 1 week. And that great hay that he had to sell it for pennies on a dollar. He's the only guy that's cut his hay. The only farm I've seen in Missouri and Arkansas where the hay's been cut. This is a serious problem. We'll be right back. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy, or while still alive. Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
The human body is extraordinary, despite all the stress we inflict upon it. Thousands of people across the country use an extremely effective product to help their bodies stay balanced. It's Heart and Body Extract, an all-natural herbal formula designed to help maintain healthy blood pressure, clean arteries, promote good circulation, and balance cholesterol. Heart and Body Extract, along with good nutrition and exercise, can give you a life free from pain, sickness, and fear. Recapture your youthful vitality and experience your body healing itself with the aid of Heart and Body Extract. Learn more and read scores of testimonials from satisfied customers at heartandbody.com. Heart and Body Extracts offers a lifetime guarantee with no price increase in over 14 years. For free info, call 866-295-5305 now. That's 866-295-5305 or heartandbody.com. Distributor inquiries welcome. 866-295-5305.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Why do over 50% of North Americans suffer from some form of chronic ailment? Could it be due to a toxic overload? It's time to take back your life. Get the lead out as well as the cadmium, mercury, and calcium. Extendovite is a garlic cayenne supplement with 5 other herbs that acts like a natural Drano, cleaning out the stored toxins, restoring your energy and youthfulness that we've lost. If you would like to live your life free of sickness, pain, or fear, then Extendovite is for you. Available in either capsules or liquid, you too can see why Extendovite is the #1 heart drop available. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822, or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Yuvia needed financing to grow her restaurant business, but her bank simply didn't understand.
I was frustrated.
Yuvia found On Deck Business Loans.
On Deck did it for me. I called on Saturday, and I had $50,000 in my account on Monday morning.
How about the terms?
Incredibly easy. It doesn't mess with your cash flow.
On Deck changed everything.
This company, On Deck, is going to be there for me.
Was it a good move?
I'm looking to increase sales probably 30%.
Been in business for at least a year with $100,000 plus in revenue? On Deck can get you $5,000 to $250,000 in as little as 1 business day. And they're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau.
On Deck has opened up so many doors for me now. Truly, the sky is the limit. I'm excited.
Apply now at OnDeckLending.com or call 800-326-5430. 800-326-5430. 800-326-5430.
Loan subject to lender approval.
We all know that Berkey Water Purification Systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey water filtration systems. The Berkey Light systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light system today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at goberkey.com. That's goberkey.com today.
Captain John Regan's with us in class. We're getting reports We're getting reports off the air that the internet and the listen lines are scrambled. They're speeding up, they're slowing down, and the messages, the audio is scrambled. If you're getting that, would you please contact me at usaprepares.com, Vincent at usaprepares.com. Let me know where you're listening, whether it's the internet or the listen line, and we'll try to trace this problem. And let me give you 2 listen lines, 605-562-4080, 605-562-4080. That's one listen line. And the next listen line is exactly the same, except the last 4 are different. That's 605-562-7727, 7727. So please let us know if you're having problems listening on the internet or on the listen line, and which listen line you're listening on and where you're listening, what state. Thanks so much. John Regan, back to you.
I'm going to rush through the financial and employment headlines so we've got time for Spy Tech and the bigger picture next hour. GDP numbers have released the update to Q1 last week. They revised it from a positive 0.2% increase to a negative 0.7%, decreasing by 0.7%. And now they're looking at redoing the way they calculate GDP because the lying numbers don't lie well enough. We have Subway, which has the largest number of stores, over 40,000. Their year-over-year sales dropped 3%. McDonald's has come up with a solution to their declining monthly same-store sales. They're going to stop reporting it. Caterpillar, which had a little bit of a recovery after the collapse in 2008, they've been going downhill and basically turned negative in 2013. And nice chart there showing how they're having problems. We've got oil being stored in super tankers, which is expensive. So the oil glut problem isn't going away. We've got a report where Obamacare overhead costs will top more than $250 billion. And you may want to short China because Bernanke sees no risk of hard landing in China, and he's bullish on the U.S. economy. And the last link under financial I put is from when Bernanke was interviewed in 2006 saying there's no housing crisis and there simply cannot be a nationwide housing problem. And then for employment, we had J.P. Morgan cutting 5,000 jobs and the San Diego newspaper laying off nearly a third of its employees. It's bad times if you're in mainstream media. Vincent?
John, you're talking about the oil glut, and we have an oil glut because the consumption's down. Now, I kind of like the idea of not polluting the air as much. I really do, with the burning of fossil fuels in trucks and tractors and automobiles. I think it's a good thing not to pollute as much. I really do. However, here's what I've seen. When I went to Arkansas on Saturday morning, and it was about a 100-mile drive, there was typically, at the most, one car ahead of me. One car. Within a quarter of a mile ahead of me. So if we're talking about traffic, there was no traffic. There were hardly vehicles on the road. Now, when I came to an intersection, we might have a few cars bunched up, maybe 3 at a traffic light. Other than that, there were very, very few cars on the road, on the countryside. Now, there were a few more in the city of Mountain Home, Arkansas, but not many. If I saw 30 cars in the city of Mountain Home, Arkansas on the way home, that would have been a lot. Seriously, so you're right on the money. We're not traveling as much. We're not transporting as much goods on the highways. These are the signs. And if you look at the billboards, about 30% of them are empty. Say, rent me.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Do good people ever want to call an attorney just to find out if they're right or wrong? But every time you think about calling an attorney, what are you forced to think about first? Money. If you could call as often as you wanted and talk as long as you need without a bill, would you call? Worry less and live more with lsprotection.com. That's lsprotection.com, or call 855-340-SAVE. That's 855-340-7283.
Results will vary from case to case.
It's very easy to be a criminal. All you need to burglarize a home is one simple household tool, a pair of scissors. If your home security system can be compromised by a criminal using scissors, then you're making it easy for them. Almost every home security system, even those sold by big-name companies, has a weakness. The phone line. You shell out $1,500, get locked into a long-term contract, and think you're safe. But a burglar can destroy your alarm in seconds with one snip. And when a burglar cuts your phone line, you're defenseless. Simply Safe Home Security is the smarter choice. Built by Harvard engineers, Simply Safe uses a wireless connection to call the cops. Scissors can't cut it, and that means your home stays safe. 24/7 professional monitoring is under $15 a month with no contract. Simply Safe Home Security keeps you safer than the other guys for half the cost. Protect your home with the alarm you can trust. Simply Safe. Go to simplysafedefense.com now for an exclusive 10% offer. That's simplysafedefense.com.
For over 5 years, you've been hearing about the Berkey Guy, so you may know a few things about him. For example, you are well aware of the superior quality and effectiveness of Berkey water filters and accessories. But did you know the Berkeys have had independent lab tests done to prove just how effective they are? It's true, and he can email you the test results. Just visit goberkey.com. You may also know that the Berkey Guy has helped tens of thousands of people get better prepared. Now here's something you may not know. GoBerkey.com has amazing specials and deals all the time on a wide variety of survival and preparedness products, most ready to ship same day. Visit the Berkey Guy at goberkey.com and be sure to click the red Products on Sale Now button. You can always call toll-free 877-886-3653. Again, that's 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com, home of the Berkey Guy.
Watch the greenbacks tumble.
Everyone all set? Cocked? Locked? Hour number 2 of USAPrepares.com. Captain John Ragan's with us. And, John, we've got, we mentioned we have a lot of rain. We're going to see some farms go under. And as you mentioned in hour number 1, it could be a total loss for this year for some farms in Texas, obviously, right?
And, we haven't had rain here for 2 days now. And there's no rain forecast for the next week. So in some ways, it almost feels like we're entering a drought, except for we got to get rid of this flooding. It is it's bad if you live near a river.
John, literally to get back from the Joplin area on Friday, the rain was so heavy that we live on this dirt road, and you've been on this dirt road, and we have this low water bridge. Well, I was hanging out the window on the passenger side. Our son was operating the vehicle, the truck, this 3/4 ton truck. I had this flashlight out the window, looking at the water level, and we were crossing water on our road. That I'd say, okay, well, we're past the tires, we're up to the rim. Or the wheel. All right, now we're at the center of the axle. The center of the axle on the in the front of the truck. This is a tall truck. It was below water. We're up to the doors, and then as we went through it, Water was rushing across the road, and the tailpipe was underwater, gurgling underwater. That's how much water we had, at our farm. I could not get across this with my all-wheel drive car. I had to leave it, up the hill on a neighbor's property, and I was able to get it the next day. Well, actually, about almost 24 hours later, because that's when the water was at a point where it was only up to the center of my axles. So it's a real problem. And we had some washouts. Our son had to fix the road so I could get home, the next day with our tractor. It's a real problem. Commerce is affected, and here's something, a preparedness tip. When you think rain is coming like this, you need to get if you're going to buy fuel for your vehicle, get it before the rain comes. When you have heavy rains like this, water will enter the underground fuel tanks at the filling station. And you don't want that. So to prevent that, make sure you get your fuel before the storm rather than after the storm. Because there's a greater possibility that there'll be water in your fuel. And it will shut down a gasoline-powered vehicle as well as a diesel. So to prevent all those problems, try not to get your fuel after a heavy rain. And try not to get your fuel while the filling station has just received a shipment of fuel, because that stirs up all the sludge and dirt on the bottom of the fuel tanks, the underground fuel tanks, when they receive their shipment. That's just a quick tip. John Regan?
Are you ready for some spy tech?
I'm ready. I have the microphone mute on.
I'll start off. Is that a joystick in your pocket, or are you... Google is working with Levi's to come up with a smart fabric that you can use to control your cell phone. I imagine they could also be used to control your notebook or tablet, where it works as like the touchpad or joystick. And I'm also willing to bet that if they're going ahead and making these control mechanisms for the computers at the same time, they're going to insert some circuitry in there so that it can monitor your body, which, people are buying separate devices for that right now, monitor your heart rate and your blood sugar and then basically everything else. So we can just totally spy on you. The Apple Watch, which, just recently came out. This, the second article there talks about the power of today's small devices. And this new small Apple Watch that fits on your wrist is more powerful than the Cray 2 supercomputer from 1985. Really, really tremendous amount of processing power. The Air Force has a new missile that, unlike a nuke, which would broadcast an EMP to a large area, this broadcasts an EMP to a small area, so they can individually target specific buildings or people and destroy your electronics, and you don't ever hear a thing. And let me just go ahead and just drop down to the last one there. It's also Air Force related, where they now have initial trials of the laser weapons to be mounted on airplanes. And when you see these things in the lab, it's a bit different than seeing that. Like here, it's got a still photo where you see the beam coming from a plane. When you see a video of how lasers work in action, these can be retargeted and hit multiple targets in a second. It's mind-boggling. And the next to last one there, they now have iris scanners that can identify you from 40 feet away. And it's, this is going to be one of the ways. They've got that. They've got facial recognition. They can recognize you by your heartbeat, by the way you walk, by the way you smell. There is not going to be any way to hide very soon. Vincent?
John, just for our class's information, I just got off the phone listening to the listen line, 605-562-7727. Doesn't seem to be working at all from our studio here. And 605-562-4080 is choppy. And this is from a landline on our end. So the report that we got, I have verified that the listen line is acting up. I'm not sure why, but I wanted to share that with you. So now, John, as far as the watch, the Apple Watch, I'm very, very concerned about that. And everybody I've seen that was wearing a watch at the expo over the weekend, no one had a wind-up watch. Every single watch was powered either by a battery, and it had an analog face on it, or it was a digital watch that was powered, with a small computer. And the Apple Watch is of course, even more concern to me because it's transmitting and it's right on your wrist. So here we have Joe Biden's son, who died of brain cancer. We had Johnny Cochran dying of brain cancer. We have Ted Kennedy dying of brain cancer. Now, I believe that the common thread was a cell phone that all three of those individuals used. Now, I can't prove it. I'm not a medical doctor. But I believe that cell phone radiation is that dangerous, that it will cause brain cancer, and Norm Shealy's in the same camp. So are many others. So is Katie Singer. Now, wearing a device on your wrist that pulses electromagnetic radiation, I think is of great concern. Back in the turn of the century, gold was combined with radioactive elements, and they made these medical seeds that were the size of a grain of rice. So if you had some kind of a disease, they'd say, okay, well, let's put this little seed in there, this gold seed, and we'll see if we can cure your disease. So it was radioactive, but it was gold, because gold's inert. They could put it in the body without causing too many problems, except for the radiation. Well, those medical experiments didn't work all that well. So what they decided to do was, it was gold, and they didn't want to throw away the gold. So they mixed it in with, they recycled the gold. And that gold was used for making wedding rings and so forth. Well, people who bought wedding rings that was made with that recycled gold, small portion of the radiation, it was put in the radioactive elements that were put in these seeds, entered the consumer gold market. Wedding rings and so forth were made with them, and people had their fingers swell up 3, 4 to 5 times the normal size. And they didn't know what was going on, but it was the radiation from the wedding band. So here's just one more indication that I'm concerned about some of this technology and what could wearing one of these watches do that's communicating to your wrist. I'm not doing it. I am using my old-fashioned 1950s, 1940s wind-up watch. Literally. I'm not kidding. So that's my comment on watches. And I haven't seen anyone I know wear a wind-up watch besides me. John, have you?
No, I haven't.
Yeah. Now, in the 1970s, it was still common to see someone with a wind-up watch. They'll say, oh, my watch stopped. I forgot to wind it this morning. Can you imagine that? Winding your watch. Well, when these watch batteries came out that powered these watches for about a year, it was like the most amazing thing. You didn't have to wind your watch every day. Not even once a week. Not even once a month. Those things would just keep going for a year. Now they go even longer than a year. But I'm really concerned about that technology on the wrist. That's just one reaction to what you said. John Regan will be back in just a minute. Well, actually a couple minutes. And we're going to be talking more about spy tech. The Financial State of the Union.com with Captain John Regan. By now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
Gold isn't for you? Ted Anderson, president of Midas Resources, one of the world's premier gold and precious metal investing firms. I get it. You wouldn't buy gold if you believed that the government is doing a great job, that the Fed will stop handing out trillions of dollars like bailout candy, that Social Security would be there for you. That's not what's happening. Even pass on gold if the stimulus package wouldn't fuel inflation, or that the dollar wouldn't lose value, or that your retirement would be secure. If all looks rosy to you, then now is not the time to buy gold. For the realists, there have never been more sobering reasons to diversify with gold. Since 2001, the U.S. dollar index has tanked 30% while gold has risen 300%. Right now, savvy investors are adding gold to their portfolios. You should too. Find out what they know. Call us and I'll send you 10 reasons why gold will do very well, free. 800-686-2237. 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237.
It's very easy to be a criminal. All you need to burglarize a home is one simple household tool, a pair of scissors. If your home security system can be compromised by a criminal using scissors, then you're making it easy for them. Almost every home security system, even those sold by big name companies, has a weakness: the phone line. You shell out $1,500, get locked into a long-term contract, and think you're safe. But a burglar can destroy your alarm in seconds with one snip. And when a burglar cuts your phone line, you're defenseless. Simply Safe Home Security is the smarter choice. Built by Harvard engineers, Simply Safe uses a wireless connection to call the cops. Scissors can't cut it, and that means your home stays safe. 24/7 professional monitoring is under $15 a month with no contract. Simply Safe Home Security keeps you safer than the other guys for half the cost. Protect your home with the alarm you can trust. Simply Safe. Go to simplysafedefense.com now for an exclusive 10% offer. That's simplysafedefense.com.
Are you suffering from EP? The symptoms include fraudulent charges to your credit card. Your subway card says it's empty, but you bought it yesterday. Someone's been in your hotel room, but the desk clerk says they only show you entering the room. These are signs of EP. Electronic pickpocketing. Payment cards, transit cards, even hotel room keys use a radio chip, so you can just wave your card at the register, the turnstile, or your hotel room door. But what's convenient for you is also convenient for thieves, waving scanners to electronically pickpocket you without even touching you. The good news is there's a cure. ID Stronghold has created leather wallets and clutches that have built-in EP protection. Layers of shielding material cleverly concealed in a beautiful leather wallet that stops the symptoms of EP. Go to idstronghold.com now and get the cure. idstronghold.com. Warning, ID Stronghold wallets could lead to feelings of safety and security, comfort in crowds, and euphoria. If you experience these emotions, immediately inform your friends and family about idstronghold.com so they can feel better.
Captain John Regan's with us. U.S. Air Force Reserves retired. What's next, John?
Well, I want to get into the bigger picture. And first up, what a problem. Whataburger is a popular hamburger chain, started here in Texas about 60 years ago. And it's mostly in the South, from Arizona over to the East Coast, Georgia, Florida. And there was an announcement that hit this morning where normally their breakfast hours are 11 p.m. to 11 a.m. Well, now they're going to only serve breakfast for 4 hours on weekdays from 5 to 9 and 6 hours on weekends from 5 to 11 because of the egg shortage. And breakfast is only while supplies last. That is how serious this egg shortage and the bird flu problem is.
Yeah, we talked about that weeks ago, John, and we said this is the kind of thing that would happen. And I mentioned that the minute I learned about this, I ran out right after the broadcast and I bought 6 more chicks for egg laying, and they're in the guest room right now, and they're just making noise and they're scratching, and they're in a dog kennel or a dog cage that's maybe 3 feet long by 2 feet wide. They're little tiny chicks. They've got a lot of room in there now, and for their size. And we're going to start introducing them in a couple weeks to the outside for an hour at a time, get them used to being outside. And then they're going to start eating bugs and being free-range chicks on the farm. And ultimately, they'll lay eggs and increase our egg production. But that was our immediate response. And we talked about that on the air, John, that we did that. And what does a chick cost? Well, they used to cost, when we did it, they were about $3, just over $3 a piece. I don't know what they cost now. I saw some on Craigslist that were a little older, and they were $11 a piece. So I don't know if that's because the chicks were older and the price goes up as they get older, or whether the shortage has caused the price to go up. I'm not sure. But I do know that we bought some because we were concerned. And we have a rooster, and we're going to start raising our own chicks and increasing the flock. That's the plan.
We're here trying to inform people, and there's so many challenges in that. And the next 2 articles are on that. Better off talking to a goldfish. Plus, I think I found some stupid voters. Well, the average attention span is now down to 8 seconds, which is less than a goldfish. So we may have more meaningful conversations sitting there talking to the goldfish bowl than trying to talk, I think, especially to today's young people. And there was an incident where somebody got banned from Facebook because she took some bulk detergent and was dividing it up and was offering $12 for a case of 48 and saying that was 25 cents a bottle. And she got all kinds of heck saying, no, you're charging $4 because 48 divided by 12 is 4. And, but besides the stupidity of the person that brought that up, the moderator, went along with it and banned her from the group. And considering that it takes me an hour to talk about the financial condition of the United States, what do you do when the attention span is 8 seconds and people don't understand that when you charge $12 for 48 of something, it is 25 cents each?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, John, that conversation came up over the weekend. We were talking about young people who have jobs, and the cash registers have to tell them how much change there is. And I heard of a young lady who was making change using the Austrian method of making change. So, for example, if the item was at 84 cents, it'd be a penny, 85, add a nickel, 90, a dime, brings you up to $1. And making change that way. She got in trouble for doing that. Can you imagine? She actually understood what was happening. We'll be right back. By now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system. because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
Are you suffering from EP? The symptoms include fraudulent charges to your credit card. Your subway card says it's empty, but you bought it yesterday. Someone's been in your hotel room, but the desk clerk says they only show you entering the room. These are signs of EP. Electronic pickpocketing. Payment cards, transit cards, even hotel room keys use a radio chip, so you can just wave your card at the register, the turnstile, or your hotel room door. But what's convenient for you is also convenient for thieves, waving scanners to electronically pickpocket you without even touching you. The good news is there's a cure. ID Stronghold has created leather wallets and clutches that have built-in EP protection. Layers of shielding material cleverly concealed in a beautiful leather wallet that stops the symptoms of EP. Go to idstronghold.com now and get the cure. idstronghold.com. Warning, ID Stronghold wallets could lead to feelings of safety and security, comfort in crowds, and euphoria. If you experience these emotions, immediately inform your friends and family about idstronghold.com so they can feel better too.
We all know that Berkey water purification systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey water filtration systems. The Berkey Light systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light system today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at goberkey.com. That's goberkey.com today.
Friends, this is Alex Jones for MidasResources.com. For more than 15 years, I have exclusively used Midas Resources for all my precious metal needs. Whether it's bullion or collectibles you're looking for, Midas Resources is simply the best. I own my gold as a hedge against inflation. This Federal Reserve fiat currency could go the way of the Deutschmark and the Weimar Republic anytime. In these historically dangerous times, it makes sense to physically hold gold and silver. Midas already has some of the best deals in the industry. But if you give them a call and mention the radio special, they will give you a list of the day's super specials. Midas brokers are standing by to answer all your questions at 800-686-2237. They also have a lot of informative free literature explaining the opportunities and risk of holding precious metals. They are ready to answer your questions at 800-686-2237. Again, that's 800-686-2237.
Yuvia needed financing to grow her restaurant business, but her banks simply didn't understand.
I was frustrated.
Yuvia found On Deck Business Loans.
On Deck did it for me. I called on Saturday, and I had $50,000 in my account on Monday morning.
How about the terms?
Incredibly easy. It doesn't mess with your cash flow.
On Deck changed everything.
This company, On Deck, is going to be there for me.
Was it a good move?
I'm looking to increase sales probably 30%.
Been in business for at least a year with $100,000 plus in revenue? On Deck can get you $5,000 to $250,000 in as little as 1 business day. And they're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau.
On Deck has opened up so many doors for me now. Truly, the sky is the limit. I'm excited.
Apply now at OnDeckLending.com or call 800-326-5430. 800-326-5430. 800-326-5430.
Loan subject to lender approval.
Captain John Regan's with us. And John, I was thinking during the last break about something that I learned in finance and economics classes back in the 1970s when I was at the university. And we were taught that there was a study of businesses that were outstanding at that time. And when a group of experts went into a business to see, how well the business was doing, they would go into the cafeteria. So we're talking about, a Fortune company like Fortune 500, for example. So the experts would go into the cafeteria and they would listen to the noise of the cafeteria at lunchtime. So if there was lots of noise and there was, lots of laughter and giggling and camaraderie, that was an indication that the company was doing pretty well. Now, there were other companies where there was, very quiet discussions, at the lunch table, and people would kind of whisper and they didn't say very much. Very quiet, very orderly. Those were companies that did not do very well and weren't doing very well. So let's extrapolate from that point. And the reason I'm saying this is there's a quote on the post that you were just talking about, the last segment, from Albert Einstein. It says, "I fear the day that technology will surpass our human interaction. The world will have a generation of idiots." I fear the day that technology will surpass our human interaction. The world will have a generation of idiots. That's from Albert Einstein. So, if you look at the interaction that we have with people today, the cafeterias at companies, corporations, if you talk to someone in their house, the cell phone is out. The cell phone is out, and very few people today don't understand that we're being spied upon with our cell phones, and that our government can turn them on and record anytime they feel like it. And all our calls are being monitored and stored and recorded. So put all that together, John Regan. And now we have an incentive to not discuss anything, right? We don't want to discuss anything. So that leads us to have that cafeteria that's quiet and somber, where the free and open exchange of ideas, opinions, and solutions is not discussed. So if we don't do that, we will have a lower amount of development of solutions, less innovation. All because our government just won't leave us alone. Those perverts are spying all the time and has caused us to say less. It's kind of like in Nazi Germany. People barely spoke over a whisper, if at all, because they were afraid of those who were listening. And they didn't want to be hauled away because they might say something. Someone might overhear one of their thoughts. John, this is horrible what's happening to us through the spying of our cell phones. And if you want to follow my example, I dumped my cell phone. I don't have a cell phone. John, what are your thoughts about that?
Well, it's there's a mixed thing. There's like, I can't really dump mine because if you want to do business today and take credit cards, you're pretty much stuck. And even beyond that, the technology is getting to the point where even if you don't have one of the self-trackers, the other devices are going to get you anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true, but they're not going to be able to. Well, I can't see how at this point these government perverts can listen in on what's happening at the Finelli farm without the cell phone, because we don't have one of those televisions that has the camera in it, that has the microphone in it, that can send the signal back. Television, we don't have one of those new televisions. We don't have a telephone that can be turned on remotely in our farm. All of our phones are old technology before that. We don't have cable. We don't have cable TV. So unless they set up some device or have somebody plant a device in the farm, it's not going to work. And we have detection equipment to let us know if that's happening anyway. Bottom line is we're doing everything we can to keep these perverts away from us. But not everybody can do that, as you said.
And let me tell you a little bit about those old style phones too. I was talking with, this was back when I was in the Air Force, somebody was in communications. And especially the really old style phones, which had the microphone where you could unscrew the mouthpiece, take it out.
Right. Uh-huh.
That when you put that down on the base, all that did was, cut off from the dial tone. It didn't stop the transmission. So somebody could be out there at the telephone pole listening to what's going on because that microphone was still transmitting. We have been spied on for decades, not just the modern technology.
Okay, well, I know the answer to that. The answer to that is to put a physical switch on the telephone line to physically disconnect the telephone line. Now, the only problem with that is somebody might call and, well, we'd never know it.
Well, the problem as this Internet of Things ramps up, these devices are going to have those chips that we've talked about that, listen 24/7. And because of the smart meters, you are not going to be able to bypass that. And we're going to be getting to a point where you either implement smart appliances or you're denied electric service. I see.
Well, actually, I'm looking forward to being denied electric service. Seriously. I've been talking with some students and instructors that I'm looking forward to going off the grid and dumping that smart meter. Absolutely. But the question is, will the government get to the point where they'll say, whether you want electricity or not, you have to have this meter on your property? That would be interesting. That would really be interesting.
It's being done in Florida. You have to be connected to the grid, both electric and water, if you want to have a house that they allow you to occupy.
Mm-hmm. And I've talked to some people about their sheriffs. And people used to say, yeah, our sheriff's a really good guy. Fewer and fewer people are saying that. I mean, you look at Joey Kyle, right? Christian County, Missouri. He sold out his friends, neighbors, family. Yep. He signed up for a 1 year and 1 day stint in the federal pen because of crimes he committed. He had the county buy things that he sold to the county through a company that he set up. He kept the money, didn't deliver the goods, and he was willing to accept a year in the federal pen, a year and a day. I wonder what the real crimes were. Everybody that knows him is absolutely disgusted with him. He's a national disgrace. Yeah, I met him. I met him at the Constitutional Sheriff and Peace Officers Association in Las Vegas. A lot of our friends were there. We had great hopes for Joey Kyle. We really did. He let us down. And, the question is, how many of these sheriffs have any kind of intestinal fortitude? How many of them will stand up against the feds? I don't think very many. I really don't. So I think it's up to us to build our village. Build our village, get friends and neighbors who will stand together, talk to them, meet with them, have dinner with them, and plan. But you know what? I was talking to a guy who is training, and he's deploying overseas. And we talked about drones. And I said, so what would happen if someone took out one of these drones, just grabbed a shotgun, and he said, they'd light you up. That would probably be called a natural gas explosion. Yep, it's too bad. The farm blew up. Looks like they had a propane leak. The whole farm blew up. Got to be careful with propane. That's what we're looking at.
On the fourth link, I've got a video, which is the Suspicious Observers report from Saturday morning. I know many of the class watch Suspicious Observers for seeing what the solar weather is. On Saturday morning, he talked about the Antarctic ice, and this is important given that the climate change battle is going to start this summer.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this video might help when you want to talk to goldfish that only have that 8-second attention span.
Mm-hmm.
And what he shows there is that there's more ice in Antarctica than previous. We're at record levels. It's not thin ice, it's thick. And where the ice is melting, it's because there's an undersea volcano there. What he didn't talk about that I think we should discuss, we've got a large number of volcanoes erupting right now. More than what we typically have in a year during the 20th century. And those are just the land-based ones. So given that most of the Earth is covered in water, there's probably 2 to 3 times that amount that are erupting underwater right now. And we've seen reports where the oceans are warming. And I believe what we're going to see is they're going to argue that this is all because of our cars, our carbon dioxide, our electric plants, and we got to do away with that. And there's probably going to be zero discussion about how many volcanoes are erupting underwater right now.
Yeah, John, but I'm concerned. I don't think you can just keep taking oil out of the ground and not have it have an impact. I wonder about the earthquakes and the fracking and the pumping of oil and water out of the ground. We'll be right back. By now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
It's very easy to be a criminal. All you need to burglarize a home is one simple household tool, a pair of scissors. If your home security system can be compromised by a criminal using scissors, then you're making it easy for them. Almost every home security system, even those sold by big-name companies, has a weakness: the phone line. You shell out $1,500, get locked into a long-term contract, and think you're safe. But a burglar can destroy your alarm in seconds with one snip. And when a burglar cuts your phone line, you're defenseless. Simply Safe Home Security is the smarter choice. Built by Harvard engineers, Simply Safe uses a wireless connection to call the cops. Scissors can't cut it, and that means your home stays safe. 24/7 professional monitoring is under $15 a month with no contract. Simply Safe Home Security keeps you safer than the other guys for half the cost. Protect your home with the alarm you can trust. Simply Safe. Go to simplysafedefense.com now for an exclusive 10% offer. That's simplysafedefense.com.
I'm Vincent Finelli of USAPrepares.com. As most of you know, I broadcast weekday mornings on GCN from 9 to 11. And I'm also a full-time farmer. Add to that mix the weekly meetups and the Get Prepared Expo, and this combination makes for a demanding schedule. On the farm, we raise grass-fed Black Angus cattle and provide them with the best variety of summer and fall grasses available. Our cattle are exposed to the extremes of weather, the toxins in the air, and the electromagnetic radiation that's all around us. So even the best grasses and food that we provide are not enough. Our cattle require minerals and supplements for strong health and resistance to disease. And so do we. For these reasons, my mother, our children, Mrs. Finelli, and I all take Longevity, Beyond Tangy Tangerine, De-Stress, Glucogel, and EFA Plus. usapreparesteam.com. And thank you for being in class today.
Hi, John Hubner from Midas Resources. Are you tired of watching your hard-earned assets dwindle away? As government spending is out of hand and the Federal Reserve is creating in excess of $20 billion a week, are you tired of stockbrokers gambling away your hard-earned money? Is this market a setup for a crash greater than 1987? Too many of today's policies resemble those that led to the collapse of 1929.
This is John Hubner, and that was me in 2007. And we all know what happened when the subprime credit bubble burst. By March 2009, the dollar lost 50% of its value. The entire U.S. banking system was on the verge of collapsing. Like all financial problems of the past, is history about to repeat itself? Call me, John Hubner, at 1-800-686-2237, extension 129, before it's too late to protect yourself. Will the oncoming catastrophe take all private IRAs, 401ks with it? There is a way to protect your hard-earned assets. Call me, John Hubner, at 1-800-686-2237, extension 129.
Are you suffering from EP? The symptoms include fraudulent charges to your credit card. Your subway card says it's empty, but you bought it yesterday. Someone's been in your hotel room, but the desk clerk says they only show you entering the room. These are signs of EP. Electronic pickpocketing. Payment cards, transit cards, even hotel room keys use a radio chip, so you can just wave your card at the register, the turnstile, or your hotel room door. But what's convenient for you is also convenient for thieves, waving scanners to electronically pickpocket you without even touching you. The good news is there's a cure. ID Stronghold has created leather wallets and clutches that have built-in EP protection. Layers of shielding material cleverly concealed in a beautiful leather wallet that stops the symptoms of EP. Go to idstronghold.com now and get the cure. idstronghold.com. Warning, ID Stronghold wallets could lead to feelings of safety and security, comfort in crowds, and euphoria. If you experience these emotions, immediately inform your friends and family about idstronghold.com so they can feel better too.
Class, we've got a meetup tonight at Jimmy's Egg. And I'm going to ask them about the egg situation. Jimmy's Egg, it's a breakfast and lunch restaurant in Springfield, Missouri. The question is, are they seeing the same thing with the shortage of eggs that John Regan was talking about? So the meetup tonight, we're going to talk about how to make wine and beer, and cordage, how to make wicks and rope. And we're going to see an example of a do-it-yourself lighting system for starting plants indoors. Now, how many of you have done that? Well, we have, certainly. John Regan, what's next?
I'm going to cover two more articles. One's about midway through the bigger picture section called Accident or On Purpose. And the bottom, it's not gun registration. Now, sometimes accidents are just accidents. And a couple of weeks ago, we lost John Nash, who the film A Beautiful Mind was about. He's a mathematician who did a lot of work in game theory, which is some of the math is actually being used against us now. And from what I understand, it was pretty much a timing issue. He arrived early, took a cab instead of waiting for his limo, and that cab was involved in a crash, which led to his death. Now, what's interesting, this came out just a few days ago, is that just 3 days before that car crash, he's telling somebody that he discovered a replacement equation for Einstein's theory. And when you rock the boat, sometimes that can be hazardous to your health. So I can't say there's anything nefarious in there, but it's just curious, the timing on that. And lastly, I saved this one to last because I figured if I led with this one, we might not get anything else today. Congress, say the Democrats, are trying to get gun liability insurance passed. So, it's not gun registration, but, why would you have gun insurance if you didn't have a gun? So this is a backdoor way of doing gun registration and getting that nice list where they can come greet you in the middle of the night. Vincent?
You're right. It's a good thing you didn't mention this in the beginning of the broadcast. John, I despise these people. I really do. But this is absolutely brilliant. So it's not the government asking you for your serial number for your rifle, pistol, shotgun. It would be the insurance company. Well, they've got to know because, heck, if that's stolen or used in a crime and they have to defend you financially, indemnify you. Well, heck, they've got to have that serial number. You're absolutely right. This is a great way to register guns. And the government can do what it always does. Pays off these criminal conspirators like, Verizon, Apple, Microsoft, who sell our secrets, right? It's real easy. They just get in bed with these guys and tell you what, it's really simple, guys. You in the insurance business, we're going to create a new market for you. Yeah. Gun insurance. How about that? How about if we make people buy your concept that you pay, customer pays money to an insurance company. We require them to do it, kind of like automobile insurance. You got to have it, right? In most states, or you pay a bond. What a great way to go! Oh man! So
we could call it Obama Gun Care.
Yeah, gun care. So what we need to do is make sure you never reelect anybody. Anybody who's in office, never reelect anybody. We can't stand the risk. They're compromised. And as one of our instructors said to me, any sheriff who's been in term for more than one term is a gun runner. Yep. Think about that. Selling guns that they've stolen from we the people. Gun running. Captain John Regan, thanks so much for being with us. Class meetup tonight. Jimmy's Egg, 4:45 to 8. Above all, honesty and integrity. What happens next?
Hey, Berkey Guy here. Are you still drinking unfiltered tap water? Does your water contain chlorine or fluoride? Will you have drinkable water in an emergency? The Berkey Guy is here to help you remove these and other potential contaminants from your water, thus helping you drink clean, purified water. We offer Berkey water purification systems at the lowest available prices online. Don't go another moment without Berkey system. Over the last 10 years, we've helped thousands drink clean, purified water. Join them by visiting goberkey.com or call me, the Berkey Guy, at 877-886-3653. That's 877-886-3653.
Hi, this is Larry Smith. Sometimes bad things happen to good people. When the cleaners ruined some special clothing, all they could do was show us a sign that said they weren't responsible. But when they got the letter from one of our Legal Shield attorneys, he promptly gave us a check for $1,152. Worry less and live more with lsprotection.com. That's lsprotection.com or call 855-340-SAVE. That's 855-340-7283.
Results will vary from case to case.
If you constantly feel run down and tired, your pH level might be low and your body could be full of toxins. If what you drink is not at a pH level of 8 or higher, you are inviting bacteria and acid to thrive in your body. But there is something you can do. Simply add 10 drops of AlkaVision Plasma pH drops to your water to help your body rid itself of acidic waste, increase oxygen, and raise your pH balance to optimum levels. AlkaVision Plasma pH drops combine a unique formula of the most alkaline minerals in the world, alkalizing the water you drink, ridding your body of acidic waste and toxins, and helping you regain energy and vibrant health. And studies show viruses, bacteria, and toxins cannot survive in an alkaline, high pH environment. Order your bottle of AlkaVision Plasma pH drops at alkavision.com. That's ALKA Vision.com. Or call 269-409-1776. 269-409-1776. Alkalize your body. Supercharge your health at alkavision.com today.